Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Apathy record, Connecticut Casual. Apathy is a Connecticut-based producer and rapper whose exploits I have been following for years now. Back when I was in college, I used to listen to a rap group he was heavily affiliated with, the Demigods. I fell out of tune with his new output for a while, but I ended catching up back with him again once he started dropping newer records like Honky Kong, in my opinion, one of the better rap albums of 2011, and since then he has been pretty busy. He dropped a pretty huge and lengthy Fire Walk With Me mixtape. He reassembled the Demigods and they dropped a new record. And he has tons of ruthless verses all over the new Army of Pharaohs album. This is a new prolific revitalization for Apathy's career, but there has been no project he's been involved with that I have been more excited for than his next commercial release right here. Now, going into this thing, I did have my hesitations. He did drop a video single before this album came out for the song Grand Leveler, the last track off of this LP. The video is loaded with Freemason imagery, and Apathy's embrace of this long-running fraternity comes through in the visuals of the video more than it does the actual lyrics of the song. Either way, it's not really a good look for someone who's a rapper. I mean, all you have to do is show some of these hip-hop fans a triangle.
Whoa, is that Lumpinati? Are you Lumpinati? Is he Lumpinati? Is that why you're popular? I thought I knew you this whole time, but it just turned...
Shut up! Would you shut up? Idiot!
But outside of any extracurricular activities Apathy may be indulging in outside of his hip-hop career, I didn't really go into this record with any expectations other than what I already know of Apathy's artistic output. He's a rapper that really values storytelling, going into a song with a message or a concept in mind much of the time. He has a flow and a delivery that is straight out of the world of 90s boom-bap hip-hop. He is definitely a student of guys like Biggie, Wu-Tang, Nas, Organized Confusion. And a lot of his production sensibilities come from the same era of hip-hop, though I do think on this new record of his, he has made some attempts at sort of modernizing, like with the song Back in New England, a grimy ass banger of a track. The bass is heavy, there are all these wailing, quirky, kind of weird guitar leads in the left channel squawking out. It's a song that's mean-mugging, it's intimidating like a 90s boom-bap track, but there's something kind of goofy and playful about it too. Then there's the song Grass Ain't Greener, where Apathy is bringing this really speedy flow over a very relaxed, atmospheric beat. These kinds of serene instrumentals are really in vogue right now in hip-hop, and I think he does it justice, especially with the really pretty sing-song chorus on this thing. Then, production-wise, Apathy also makes some really ballsy sample choices, like on the track Martha Moxley, Rest in Peace, where he samples very obviously and very blatantly George Michael's Careless Whisper, the sax riff that opens up the track. And even though it's very clear where the saxophone is coming from as soon as the song starts, it's still such a blissful instrumental. It just works so well that it just makes me think, how has this not happened already? But sometimes the obvious samples on this record do work against Apathy in a sense, like on the opening track here, the title track, where he is sampling Anthony Kiedis' vocals from the Red Hot Chili Pepper song Under the Bridge, namely from the chorus of the song. And even though I'm not against sampling this vocal because the song is very obvious, everybody knows this song, I guess I'm more against how untreated the vocal on this track feels. It just makes it more difficult to imagine this vocal with another groove, with another context. I think my least favorite instrumental on the entire record has to be the one on Underground Chick, where there's this really blatant Smashing Pumpkins sample. It's got a bit of a trap flavor with these incessant hi-hats twittering away throughout the track, and even though I think it was really ambitious for him to try to chop this song up in this way, it is one of the more creative chops of any of the samples throughout this entire LP. I guess it's how the beat comes together with Apathy's rapping on this song that really ends up turning me off. Beyond these tracks, the instrumentals are pretty straightforward, they're smooth, They're efficient, they're good at setting the tone of these tracks, like the shimmering guitar chords and lines all over the track Don't Give Up the Ship, the aged, dusty pianos on Curse of the Kennedys, and Jack Ruby, fitting the tone of the culture being talked about in these songs. And then I guess the really ritzy horns and strings on the song Money Makes the World Go Round fits the tone and the subject matter of that track too. The production doesn't blow my mind most of the time, it just kind of gets the job done. It's lyrically and conceptually where I really think this album impresses and kind of comes together. Being somebody from Connecticut, I came into this record expecting some kind of Connecticut-based content given the title of it, and Apathy didn't really disappoint. We have tracks on this record that hilariously and ironically embrace Connecticut and New England-based stereotypes, like on the song Back in New England, where the hook is so stone-faced and just mentioning things like Ray-Bans, seersucker, boat shoes, yacht club, J. Crew, seafood, not hip-hop things. But the track appears way more hard as nails on the verses, especially with the Chris Webby verse. The Chris Webby verse on this thing was killer. And there are moments on this record as well where he exposes a bit of dark underbelly and some debauchery, like, again, on the opening, the title track of this thing, where he is not only talking about the culture of his past, his personal past, but also Willimantic, where he grew up. And then there are songs on here that address the greater culture of New England in general. Songs like Curse of the Kennedys. I mean, if you're going to talk about New England royalty, the Kennedy family is pretty much it. Then there's the song Martha Moxley, Rest in Peace. If you're from Connecticut and my age or older, you probably have very vivid memories of the Michael Skakel case. And there are other tracks on this LP that, while they may not be directly Connecticut related or New England related, they relate to these tracks, like Jack Ruby, a song that essentially makes a huge reference to the guy who shot Lee Harvey Oswald, who is allegedly the assassinator of John F. Kennedy. The song Grass is Greener topically links right into the song Money Makes the World Go Round. The song Underground Chick, in a way, links into the song Beefin' Over Bitches. However, there are some tracks on this thing that I think sound really weak when they're by themselves, like the song Locals Only. Good verse from Apathy, but not one of the more focused tracks topically on this entire LP, and not one of the better guest verses on here either. And not only instrumentally, but lyrically too, I think Underground Chick continues to rank as my least favorite song. It's really one of the shorter and to me, one of the more not cohesive tracks on this entire LP, especially as Apathy just slips into this about this girl getting high and listening to his shit. She's a little underground chick. And immediately after this, the song just sort of ends. Meanwhile, the Smashing Pumpkins sample that's already sort of trying my patience is just going on and on and on and on in the background and not really fitting the beat change at this point in the track. It's just not one of the well-crafted songs off this record, I think. An ambitious experiment, but not one of my favorite tracks. Overall, I think this is one of Apathy's most solid projects to date. I think it's maybe a shade more enjoyable than his last full-length record, but even this LP has its handful of songs that I either don't care for or I think pale in comparison to others, just like that album did. I'm feeling a strong 7 to a light 8 on this thing. Transition, if you've given this record a listen, what did you think of it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Why? What do you think I should review next? And that's it. Apathy, Connecticut Casual, forever.